everybody, this is Perch, and just got done with the DC solicitation videos. Now I'm off and moving on the road. Can't do those solicitation videos from the car while driving. That would be unsafe, as opposed to what I'm doing now, which is entirely safe. Other than I am speeding, but I'm late for something. I always hate it. By the way, I'm usually the person that's sitting there, and then somebody else is late. And then lately, in the last year or so, I've become the late one. And I think it's I've got too many things going, so now I'm the late one, and I always feel like the biggest douchebag. And I admire people. Well, admire is the wrong word, but I it's because it's definitely not that. But the people who are late and they just don't care, they're unfazed. They're like, "Hey, I'm here now," and it's like, "Well, yeah, you're 30 minutes late to the thing you said." And it's like, I get there when I get there." It's like I'm always fascinated by the psychology of somebody who just does not care. It's weird to me. Anyway, one of the things I was noticing in the solicitation video as I'm going through it, and this is not a new revelation, this is always the case, and I've kind of talked about some of this before, it's how uninspired a lot of these solicitations sound. I think that, let's back up a second. What is the point of solicitations? What is the point of putting out a catalog with these titles there, with the information about what is inside the comic? Why do they do it? Well, they do it because they're trying to sell those comics. There's been some discussions. I did a video with Wes earlier about, basically sold to the retailer versus sold through to the customer. Well, the solicitations are for both groups, but they're really for the retailer because it's a retailer that's got to put money down based on what they're reading. The customer might reserve something, customer might get excited about something in the solicitation, but generally speaking, that is marketing to the retailer. It's marketing to the shop. The shop's supposed to take this and go, all right, I'm getting enough information about this comic that I can go pitch it and sell it. And what the companies would like to do, I think what the publishers would love is if they could spoil more things inside the solicitations. They would love to put in there, for example, things like, in this comic, Daredevil will no longer be Matt Murdock, but Elektra will be the new Daredevil. By the way, just as a complete aside, and by the time this video comes out, everybody will have known it anyway, but there's some misleading news out there that Daredevil is being relaunched with a new #1 featuring the woman without fear, Elektra. It's like, more woke comics is how people are saying it, but you got to look a little closer. The Daredevil Woman Without Fear is a 3-part miniseries connected to Devil's Reign. Now, they may still relaunch the whole book as another Daredevil Woman Without Fear #1. I mean, who knows? I tend to doubt it because Elektra is a brand property that actually they've made money off of, and in theory will want to make money off of again. And so I don't see them merging these two brands like this. It would not be good business sense. I know what you're going to say to that. I know. Anyway, but regardless, the solicitation video. Actually, another kind of thing that I did today, I haven't looked at it forever. I'd forgotten it was there. Is inside of YouTube, inside your little studio, your dashboard, you can see the channels that people go to, similar to yours, or not similar to yours, but the ones your viewers are also looking at videos from these places. And what's fascinating about it to me is it is like a schizophrenic mess in there. I was going through it. There was Comics Matter is on there, Just Some Guy is on there, and then the cartoonist Kayfabe is on there. Very, very, very different channel for the first two. And then the Marvel YouTube account, which just fascinates me. I'm wanting to know the people who are going and watching the Marvel YouTube account and then coming over here. Like, that's got to be a very jarring experience to nice, well-produced videos into, whatever we do on this channel. Thinking Critical was on there, of course. I think there's a lot of crossover with that channel. And then there was Home Repair. This guy who lots of videos, and then Uncle Roger is on there, which made me very happy that there's I have no idea why there's a crossover with that. Maybe it's all the K-pop stuff I put in, but that's cool. But anyway, it was you could not. If I look at this is a marketer's nightmare. One of the big reasons my channel is where it's at in terms of subs, and I'm grateful for the subs. But when people are like, oh man, it's a crime you don't have 100,000 subs. The reason why is exactly this: I'm dividing up the pie too much. If I went all in on one of those, segments that I mentioned, if one of those kind of channel types that I mentioned, I would get more subs. The problem is I'm splitting the difference too much. I'm I'm in too many different ones, and so I never really get to achieve in any. That's what's going on there. But it's just fascinating. I love that fact. Actually, I love the fact that I've got such a diverse audience. Hey, Marvel and DC, I'm doing better at than you are. Anyway, regardless, solicitations. I've been way off track in a bunch of times during this video. The key is you're selling to the retailers. And so when you're selling to the retailers, you need to make it attractive to the retailers. And like I mentioned before I went off on that Daredevil tangent, I think the publishers would love to put full spoilers in the solicitations. That would certainly make life easier. But they know from experience that the retailers will promptly share it. They won't keep it under wraps. There is no such thing as like an NDA. So they have to kind of hint that this will be an important issue. The problem is the companies, I think publishers have realized in the past that when they hint like this issue could be really important, a bunch of retailers have ordered it. So going, aha, this is how we'll spike up orders. They've started using that same line, that same terminology, like this one's not one you're going to want to miss. They've used it so much that the retailers are like, I'm comfortable missing it. I've heard this one before. You can't fool me, for the 500th time. And so the entire exercise becomes somewhat pointless of these solicitations. It's not great marketing. If you watch those videos, you look at them, you would not. It's not enough information to really make an intelligent, informed decision about what you're ordering. It's written in such a way, in many cases, to sound unappealing. It's not. It's not. So solicitation should be a marketing and advertising function. It should be a thing that people inside the company who are very excited about. How do we promote? How do we? I mean, that there's some KPIs and some benchmarks that they're going up against retention and audience attraction. Like those are the kinds of people that need to be writing the solicitations. But instead, I'm fairly certain the solicitations get written by whatever poor editor kind of gets trapped with the job, which sometimes is the editor of the book in the solicitation, sometimes not. Sometimes it seems like it's kind of a homework assignment that gets tossed out and a bunch of people ignore it, and then kind of whoever's around the office at publishing date has to kind of fill in the gaps. That's how it comes across. And from what I understand from talking to people inside of the publishers, that's also how it is. It's not just how it looks, it's how it actually is. And so as a result, this thing, the solicitations, it's not achieving its primary function. Its primary function to market and advertise comics so that the retailer will be enticed to order them and buy them and put them out. And why this is a big deal to me, I mean, obviously as a retailer, it matters to me that this is done better. It should be done better. But more, if we want comics to grow, if you want to expand that market, then you have to put better bait on the hook. And yes, I mean, somebody will come in and is like, well, you can't write a good solicitation if the end product's crap. Yeah, the end product also has to be good. But anyone in marketing and advertising will tell you that part of the job of good marketing is to make things that aren't always the most appealing sound enticing and exciting. The person who's working the marketing firm for Arby's has to figure out a way to get that bacon cheddar sandwich that is 5 billion calories and a big hunk of meat with just drip cheese all over it. They've got to get somebody, they've got to find a way to get that appealing to people. They've got a way to put that in the best possible light. There's a reason why when people take photos of food for campaigns, including Arby's, including all kinds of places, the food is often airbrushed and spray painted and lacquered, and you are not, the photo that you're seeing is not the food you're eating. They're putting the best possible face on it. That's what's needed for comics. That's what's needed for solicitations in this marketing. It needs to have the best foot forward. It needs to be billed as something very, very exciting, something you want to read, something you want to order. Because if you give the retailers more tools, if you give them more ways to kind of hype up and sell this comic, they will happily go out and do that, and their sales will go up, and they'll be happy with their part in the chain, and you're going to be happy because they're ordering more books, and that's what's necessary. But it starts with the solicitations being seen as proper marketing and advertising, and not kind of some boring last second have to fill out the catalog so people order books. And I've heard the perspective as well of, I mean, nobody's even going to read these things. People are just going to look at the title and put the number 100 next to the things that say Batman, and that's all there is to it. That's a very defeatist attitude. It's not true. It's not what's actually going on with the retailers. And if you think that, you're the wrong person to be doing this job. Absolutely the wrong person doing this job. Put more effort into the bait. You gotta put the best possible bait on that hook. Again, if you've ever worked in advertising, if you've ever seen or been part of a shoot or any kind of thing like that, you will see people obsessively worry about the precise way that the shadows are falling on the thing they're photographing, or that the language they're using. You'll see, copy have 20 revisions before it goes out to print in order to sell it in just the right way. You'll see people obsessively look at the words to go, is this a positive word? Is it a negative word? How's this going to play? How's it going to be easy to think? What's the subconscious reaction? That's how it's done. And not just for more, expensive, widespread stuff. I've seen advertising campaigns for things that make much less money than comics that apply that kind of skill. Time Comics did the same. Anyway, sorry for the rambly journey there. It is what it is. What can I say? Tell me what you think about all this. Like and subscribe, of course, and thanks for listening.